the main event saw Kevin Lee take on Edson Barboza. Obviously, coming into it, Kevin Lee, missed weight, and there was another missed weight as well with Leslie Smith, which we will get to after we break down the fight and talk a little bit about it. But coming into this fight, I think we both picked Barboza to win. And it just didn't go that way. Lee took the fight over early. I kind of talk about what happened in the fight in a second, but it was a very good performance overall, I suppose, before we get into the breakdown of the fight from Kevin Lee, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was really good. Barboza wasn't able to stop the takedowns. I kind of said I thought that if Kevin Lee got him down, he might get the choke, but Barboza was able to defend that, but he wasn't able to get up without taking a lot of damage. Kevin Lee was able to get him out with relative ease, and he did get hit. Barboza hit him with, was it the third round or the third round?
Let me just look here. It was the fourth. Hold on. Third round, yeah.
Yeah, he had him doing the chicken dance pretty badly, but Kevin Lee did manage to tough it out and recover, and he got the deserved. I actually haven't seen a picture of the cut afterwards. I thought it was unusual for them to stop it on a cut like that, but I think it was going one way, and I think probably there won't be too many complaints from Barboza's side.
Yeah, 100%. So let's kind of just mention what happened in the fight before we get to breaking down what actually happened. Lee came out in the first round very hard on the pressure. He landed a few shots. All Edson Barboza was really doing was landing a couple of leg kicks, one of which got him to the clinch, where Lee got the takedown. He got into half guard and landed a few hammer fists, and a lot of elbows, and some very good ground and pound. In the second round, then it was much the same. A lot of pressure again from Kevin Lee. He threw a big head kick at one stage. Had Barboza kind of hurt, and Barboza went for a takedown, and which led to a clinch again. He managed to get out, but Lee got him down with a big double leg, and he landed a lot of ground and pound again, and it was looking bad after that round. I was kind of saying maybe this should be stopped, give him another round to see what he can do, and that should be it. But Barboza came out and looked very good. In the third round, he was circling out, throwing leg kicks, got out of the clinch again and landed that huge wheel kick, which you mentioned, almost got to KO, but Kevin Lee did very well to get kind of the double leg and then into the clinch, and then he got the takedown and just kind of stayed in the guard for the rest of the round, and nothing really. Well, he got stood up, I think, at one stage, and there was a bit of a trade at the end, but for most of the round, he was able to survive it. Then in the fourth round, Barboza came out looking not too bad again, landed one left hook and a big body kick, and went for a head kick at one stage as well, nearly landed it. But Lee managed to get that takedown again, all important. He dominated on top and got a lot of ground and pound, and landed a lot of elbows, which he did all night. And then in the fifth, it was I think the fifth was maybe the most even round of all, where they were kind of trading jabs. Edson Barboza landed a big right hand at one stage, and he was trying to throw those wheel kicks again, which he almost knocked him out in the third round, but it just didn't work. Kevin Lee's combinations, he kind of got his second wind again in the fifth round. His combinations looked good, and there was a long period of clinching as well in that fight. And then at the end, it was a bit weird, and I suppose we'll talk about the end, but there was a bit of a clinch. It looked like a mouthpiece flew out. So the ref kind of stopped to put in the mouthpiece. It wasn't a mouthpiece, it was like a piece of tape or something. And then he saw Barboza had been cut, and he stopped the fight. Brought in the referee or the doctor, who very quickly stopped the fight. I thought it was you mentioned it there. I thought it was a very, very unusual way to end the fight, to stop the fight. Like in MMA, fights are usually not stopped for cuts like that. Like it was bleeding. I didn't see a picture of it either. It looked a relatively bad cut, but it didn't seem to be like, it wasn't Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Like, it wasn't covering his full face. It wasn't destroying his eye or anything like that. It was a bit odd, wasn't it, to stop it on that so quickly?
Yeah, it's you rarely see that. I suppose maybe there was consideration that he couldn't go back into his corner because it was the last round and get it fixed, but he didn't seem to be protesting too much as well. But it was odd to see, and it was very quick, the decision between the doctor and the ref, between when they realized the cut was there and when they stopped it. But maybe Barboza said something. Who knows what he said in the moment? Maybe they said, "Are you okay to continue?" Maybe he said no, or who knows? So we haven't really heard. We haven't really seen the cut, so it's hard to really know what went on there.
Yeah, and I think it was kind of really only going one way anyway. Barboza did have his couple of fleeting moments, but this fight was really all Kevin Lee, and I think it was one of those graph kind of fights where one guy is going up and one guy is going down. Edson Barboza, he didn't get a chance maybe to look like himself, which is a little bit unfair, but he definitely didn't look like himself at almost any part of the fight. What did it go? Almost, what did it go? 20, 23, 22 minutes, whatever. Maybe for a minute of it or 2 minutes of it, he looked dangerous. But other than that, he didn't really. And Kevin Lee, you have to give him a lot of credit for that. And we talked about last week, and I didn't think, that graph where one's gone up, one's gone down. I'm not sure Kevin Lee was up at his level yet, but he is, and he surpassed it. And Lee is someone who you have to take seriously. His antics and his personality and stuff mightn't be to everyone's liking, including myself. But as a fighter, you have to respect him. You have to like him. His hands have improved an awful lot. His wrestling is obviously very good. His pressure game is really good. His game planning last night was exceptional. He did so much right in that fight. There's still things he needs to work on, one of which I think is a big problem for lots of lads who fight like he does and like Khabib does as well. We saw it, and it's no coincidence that in the third and fourth rounds were kind of the close rounds. Almost got knocked out in the third, and look what happened with Khabib. It was the third and fourth round as well against Al Iaquinta that he's not struggled with, but it wasn't the same as the first couple of rounds. And what's the reason for that? And I think the reason for that is when you put so much effort into those first two rounds and pressure so much like they do, it's impossible not to get tired. And that's kind of heartening for guys maybe with big knockout power or very good cardio who can keep going for 5 rounds non-stop, or can see out the time on the ground and stand up and have a shot. Whether whoever you're talking about, maybe you're talking about McGregor, Tony Ferguson, Dustin Poirier, even guys like that who can do that. So that's heartening. But at the same time, and I mentioned there, he kind of got his second wind in the kind of fourth and definitely into the fifth. That's another thing that's big as well for Kevin Lee, because that 5-round experience against someone like Barboza will stand to him as well, or 4.5 round or whatever, that experience will definitely stand to him.